Hello, everyone,
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday.
and happy National Streaming Day. This is, I don't know, we have a lot of days, it feels like, national days, but today is the one for streamers, I guess.
Yeah, it was began by Roku back in 2014. So there's quite a bit of deals out there to help us streamers save money, which is always good.
Yep.
And as we mentioned on Friday, this past Friday, just with so much going on in the space right now, we wanted to do a special live stream today on National Streaming Day. And in lieu of our normal live stream that would be this Friday, and with it being Memorial Day weekend, we won't be doing a live stream on Friday, this upcoming Friday, but we'll be back on the 31st. So we're going to get started. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. There are a fair bit of deals out there, so we're going to go ahead and get started with that. First, we're going to discuss some device deals, and then some service deals. So really, as I mentioned, it's Roku that's sort of the ones behind this. So if you have a Roku device, really a great way to find what deals that they have up to the moment is going onto your Roku device, and they've got a National Streaming Day tab that you can. Nicole's got a screen grab here of what it was this morning, so you can go there and see what deals that they have. They've got a variety of deals on their devices, from like $10 to $20 off, a variety of different devices. On their TVs, they have deals as well. They're also offering some deals for different services, different streaming services, if you sign up through their platform. So probably the best one, in my opinion, is Apple TV Plus being free for a month. That offer ends on Wednesday, the 22nd. And it's available in the Apple TV app on Roku streaming devices. And before I really get started on all of these, most of the deals are, as usual, only available for new customers. And on the Apple deal, it's one offer per streaming device and Apple ID. And when it's over at the month, it's going to renew to its normal pricing at $9.99 a month. They've got some other deals like Stars and MGM Plus for 99 cents a month for 2 months. They've got deals for Shudder and really some lower tier more niche type streaming services. And in terms of devices, just don't overlook Amazon, Target, Best Buy, and Walmart. I've confirmed they're all offering deals on streaming devices. The same. They all seem to be about the same pricing, $10 to $20 off per device, both for Fire devices and for Roku devices. Now for services, you may have seen this, that DirecTV Stream, they really have the best offer out there right now. It's $30 off on any DirecTV Stream plan for 3 months. So it's not for good, it's only for 3 months. So you would get the base plan for $49 a month. That deal ends tomorrow, May 21st. And so that, like I said, would make deals starting at $49 a month. YouTube TV has a relatively good offer, $15 a month, or $15 off a month for the first 3 months, so making it $57.99 a month. Fubo is offering 15% off plans for 1 month. Not seeing when that runs out. Most of these deals are running through either tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest. Sling is offering $25 off a month for the first month, which since they got rid of their free trial some time ago, that really is the best offer I've seen out there for Sling. So making it, $15 a month? Yeah, or $25 a month if you get both orange and blue. MLB TV is offering 50% off through tomorrow, So $59.99 for the year for a single team, or $69.99 for all teams. So that's half off. And then Paramount Plus is offering 50% off for 12 months. And that's not really a streaming day deal, but that's if you sign up by July 14th. So that's quite a few deals out there. Would love to hear in the comments if anyone has seen anything that I didn't mention. And Raymond has brought up a good point. Paramount and Amazon are working on a bundle together, are in discussions, and there's some good savings out there. But really, what's most important is what the terms and conditions are when you go into it, and then if you don't plan on keeping the service at its normal price, please set yourself a reminder to cancel before that goes up, because DirecTV Stream, it's not our favorite service. They've got some good features though, but it's not worth the pricing that they charge, in my opinion. But $50, like if you want it for some sport or something through the summer, it's not a half bad price. So like I said, if you've seen any deals, just let us know in the comments. And I've not seen any Peacock deals. I've read reports of Peacock and Roku offering a deal through the Roku platform that you could get it for 99 cents a month for 2 months. I've not been able to confirm that myself on our end, and should also add that I've heard the same thing about Paramount Plus, 99 cents a month for the first 2 months through Roku, but I have not been able to confirm that or duplicate that myself on our end. And as we mentioned on Friday, yes, it is. Raymond says DirecTV Stream is basically cable TV streaming, and I would agree with that. So that's it for the deals, but please continue to chime in the comments if there's one that you have a question on or have seen that I've not mentioned. So given that
just one other thing to say, Prime Day is also coming up. Do you remember?
In July.
July. It's a little ways away, but there might be some streaming, at least device.
Yeah.
For sure, Amazon will be discounting its Fire
stuff.
TV stuff. But if you like Roku, though, I mean, those also might go on sale in July. But this is a pretty good deal in terms of the discounts I've seen Roku offer on their devices. So
and looking at Amazon myself, the Fire TV devices seem to be a bit better discounted than the Roku devices, but it's a Fire device, which most streamers tend to prefer Roku, which we do as well, and we're actually going to pick up a second Roku device ourselves for our main TV. So as we mentioned on Friday, there's just been so much going on in the streaming space the last week or two, so we couldn't cover everything on Friday. So we got a couple high-level things. Glad to see you as well, Paul, that we're going to discuss. And the last one I mentioned was the Paramount Plus deal. And so Paramount is still in the news. After we got off the live stream on Friday, it came out that Sony and Paramount signed a non-disclosure agreement. So what that basically means is that now Sony is going to be able to view Paramount Global, their non-public financial information. And they've only given that thus far to Skydance. And originally, Sony and Apollo had made a $26 billion all-cash deal to Paramount to take them. That has now, from everything I've read and heard, that has changed somewhat. And apparently now Sony only wants the Paramount studio. And from what I've gleaned, it's sort of a real estate play is what they're wanting. And as we've discussed, CBS assets may need to be sold off because of the foreign ownership regulations in place. And Hollywood doesn't like the idea because it would likely bring downsizing, similar to what occurred when Disney acquired 20th Century Fox. And it's important to remember that Paramount shareholders don't really like the Skydance deal. And so Sherry Redstone is going to do what she wants to do. And from what I've read, she isn't opposed to breaking up the company, which what it seems like Sony might be tilting at right now that they might want to do. And so this New York Times has been reporting on this, and this quote is from article on Saturday. So I'm just going to read the quote. But Sony shareholders have fretted over the possible acquisition, given the potential cost of a bid for Paramount and the headwinds facing the subscription streaming business. Sony and Apollo are now contemplating a variety of approaches to acquire the company's assets, but are backing away from their plan to make an all-cash $26 billion offer for Paramount for a merge with another company, unquote. So there's a lot there, and it will be telling to see where this goes, and because Sony's really, as we've mentioned before, an arms dealer in the media space, and different parties like different deals. Paramount stock has taken a hit on the nose from Sony sort of slow walking back, and so it will be interesting to see how this plays out. And Nick, that's a great question. Nick asked if we have ever covered some cell phones offering 3 to 6 month free trials for some streaming services. We've discussed that pretty much at length, but we haven't done like a review video of what they are. It's really Verizon and T-Mobile that tend to offer the better deals out there, but we'll definitely keep that in mind for a future topic. Get to hear from me again. And last thing that I'm going to discuss is there was a very interesting video on Yahoo Finance, and we recorded a video on this last week that will be out in the next week or so. This video from Yahoo Finance is claiming that the streaming wars are over. And we've discussed that. We've had videos before about that, and it's really essentially getting after why bundles are coming. Because we have, as we discussed on Friday, the 2 big bundles that have been announced, not to mention the venue sports bundle that's supposedly coming out. And really what this video is getting at is that companies are viewing bundling as the best answer to churn and engagement. And they went on to say, the analyst was saying that bundles are a defensive move. They're not an offensive move. Offensive, might be lowering prices, offering free trials, something like that to gain customers. But this is a defensive move, trying to keep the customers. And it's no secret that streaming services, they're at maturity or moving past that, and they are tired of losing customers thanks to the ability to cancel. And so it really creates a question of, is bundling really the answer, or is having better content the answer? And content is expensive to create, and companies are trying to become profitable. So the first step, which we have seen across the board, is content cuts. We've seen that across many platforms. They've cut content. They've introduced things like password sharing crackdowns, things of that nature. And the next step is de-risking, as the analyst was saying, because they have no control over the customer, unlike wireless or cable TV, where there might be contracts going on. And this analyst says that they're never going to release the no contract situation. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I could foresee something in the future where you're required to stay a certain amount of time, or if you come back, they're going to raise your rate or something like that. Something that's going to try and keep some of that.
I just have to play it against the rise of these free ad-supported streaming services. They risk, if they introduce contracts, people just leaving en masse for fast services. But we know they like contracts. So they'll try to find a way to work those in, even if it's, you know, a lot of these companies that were cable companies, I think they're going to shift to being internet companies. So they will be who you go to for your actual internet service. And, you know, they'll kind of get out of the content business that way.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they could have contracts. Well, they probably already do.
For sure. Anyway. And entertainment has largely moved to live sports, as we've discussed, and that's really where the money is. And now that we have Netflix being an 800-pound gorilla playing in the live sports field, with them getting NFL games and other things that they're doing, that's where it's moving. And so, you know, for Netflix, as we discussed on Friday, they really want that advertising revenue, and they want to be able to advertise their content, and they also want to monetize, you know, make more off of that ad revenue. And really what this video was discussing was that the streaming giants are basically calling a truce. Mm-hmm. And seeing that there is strength in numbers and working together, which that's true, but that reminds me of another service that started that way that is no longer that way, and that's Hulu. Mm-hmm. And Hulu started between, you know, several companies trying to work together, and now Disney and Comcast are arguing over the final payment still. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, where the bundling goes over the next few years. Are they going to be happy with a shared piece of the pie as opposed to believing that they can get the entire pie? And these are massive multinational corporations that their drive is the bottom line. And so the video finalized by saying they don't see mergers really happening. They more so see bundling going on. And, you know, with Paramount out there, you know, who knows if they will be bought out. So yeah, it's an interesting time to be in the streaming space and to watch what's going on. Paul asks a great question with the CW airing the Pac-2, as people in media are calling it, Oregon State and Washington State. Do we expect other schools to join to reform the Pac-12? That would not surprise me to see that happen, especially if talks of a college football super league become true. Not everyone, and I've read between 30 and 40 to 50 teams in this super league. It wouldn't surprise me that teams that were left out in the cold of this, or teams that are wanting to come up from the group of five or aren't happy with their current situation, go to the Pac-12 and try and reform it. So, you know, time will tell. But I think it's definitely possible. And
it's a good segue to our next topic, because I would say Disney will probably be involved in a significant way, since they own ESPN and they pay so much money for the rights to stream live sports games, college football, NFL, et cetera, that they're going to want a return on that investment. And I think we already see their hand in the playoff pie and even just the realignment that's going on. So we'll definitely have to watch it for sure. But right now, something that is going on at Disney, Bob Iger, the CEO, said that Disney plans to pretty dramatically reduce its investments in linear TV. So that would be cable, satellite broadcast, as it works to make its streaming unit a consistently profitable division. So again, getting at what John was just talking about, they're trying to be profitable. They want to make Disney Plus profitable, along with Hulu, ESPN Plus, and they have determined that linear, which would mean, again, cable, when you hear that term linear, just think cable, is not going to be a growth business, but could become an important component for engagement. Now, these comments were made to investors, so this is all around the finances behind the business. But if you follow that, you just understand it's him confirming that more money is shifting to streaming and then advertising. It's just shifting from cable to streaming. And cable is not going to go away entirely. I think that's why he's saying it could become an important component for viewers to still watch ESPN, for example, there and other Disney networks. But Disney is reducing its traditional network investments and transitioning ads to streaming. So again, it's just kind of, he's confirming that they're going to move there. They recognize ad revenue is shifting over to streaming. And then one of the ways they're capitalizing on that, and this is where it does impact us, is where you find your show to watch it. So for example, popular ABC shows like Grey's Anatomy and Abbott Elementary episodes now air nearly simultaneously on Hulu and ABC. The ABC audience trends older and Hulu's trends younger. Together, it's a better overall audience for Disney to sell advertisers on. Just I think interesting to watch and to see, at what point will you watch things first on streaming and then later on network. Like at one point, it wouldn't surprise me if that flips.
And Baba's and Trolling has a great question here. Do you think Disney will stop selling Disney Plus and Hulu standalone plans in the next few years? And that's a great question. I think eventually they will, but I don't know when that'll happen. And I imagine it would be whenever they feel the tipping point has, swung over to where they have already got most people in through the bundle. And then they could eventually just if you look at like Cinemax is one example that comes to mind, or even Showtime merging with Paramount Plus. And I know we don't know what's going to be the future of that because Paramount's in trouble, but those channels have gone away. HBO being folded in with Max. Maybe there's something there for us to look at what could happen with Hulu. I personally think that they will at some point because we see that with supposedly the ESPN standalone service coming next year is supposedly going to be made available first in Disney Plus, and Hulu, they integrated Hulu with Disney Plus, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So Hulu.
And the ESPN Plus is integrated into Hulu.
Live.
Hulu Live.
And as we discussed a couple weeks ago, Disney Plus is going to start having 24/7 channels here in the very near future. And I think the key piece that needs to happen in that, and this just is speculation on my part and comparing it to Paramount Plus and Peacock, they need to be able to find a way of including ABC in a higher tier plan. Because people are going to want that. And in my opinion, that's a glaring, yes, they have the value aspect of having Disney Plus and Hulu, but that's a glaring difference between Hulu and the other two major on-demand platforms. But I personally think they will fold as much as they can, if not everything, into Disney Plus at some point here in the next year or two.
Yeah. And Hulu Live, I think if we look at how they price their plans, which we have a Hulu Live review that's coming out this week, or did it already go?
No, I think it's next month. I can't remember.
Okay, anyway, we have a Hulu Live, a new updated Hulu Live review coming out, and one of the things we did in there was just take another look at their plans and their pricing of their plans, and right now they're only giving you like a $1 discount if all you want is Hulu Live. I just think I could see them doing something similar with Hulu. They'll raise the price on the single plans to kind of force you to a bundle, but we'll see. That was all the news we had, but we did get a few questions from y'all in the community that we wanted to address today. And so I'm going to go over those real quick, and then
one more question that just came in, and I'm going to discuss that. It depends on what you're looking for. Is Hulu Live now better than YouTube TV? From a value standpoint, I would say that it is better than YouTube TV because you get everything in the bundle, and that's great for a family that wants as close to cable as possible and enjoys Disney content and the sports available through ESPN Plus. From a value standpoint, I think it's better from a feature standpoint and a technical standpoint, YouTube TV, I believe, beats them pretty handily in my opinion. So it really comes down to what you're looking for. If it were me, I would direct people to YouTube TV. Yeah.
And then another question there about venue. Do you think it will eventually lead to services like ESPN Plus shutting down? I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I mean, ESPN Plus is going to be a part of it. To me, I don't know that necessarily would, because ESPN Plus is such a relatively good value. I know a lot of people have issues with it working. We've not personally experienced that, but $10 or $11 a month versus a reported $40 to $50 a month. I don't think it would, but given that it's Disney, nothing's off the table with Disney, in my opinion.
No, it makes sense for them to keep that lower price option for people that really want what is on ESPN Plus and don't necessarily need the more expensive professional, NFL games and such that would be part of venue. So that's definitely just something to keep watching. So just 3 questions to answer here from the community. The first question was, do you think there will be more free ad-supported streaming services this year? And our opinion on that is that yes, there will be, and we actually have a video coming out about how fast services are changing or have changed. And so, definitely watch that for more. But just quickly, Tubi, Pluto TV, and the Roku channel are all adding live news, sports, popular cable content. They're gaining users, they're gaining revenue for the media companies that own them, and their goals are to add more content, more personalization, and give a better user experience. So, and they're just only becoming more popular. And so I think at least for this year, in the short term, we're gonna see more fast services pop up. And I think it'll kind of mirror what we've seen in the streaming space overall on the paid side. There was an explosion. Now we're seeing contraction coming back down, where it's consolidation and we're ending up with fewer players. I would expect the fast space to mirror that. So in the short term, more. Long term, I think there will be a culling, because there's just only so many ad dollars to go around. And then another question about fast services: why don't all fast services merge already? Frustrating to jump from app to app for content. And we get it. That's a great, common frustration. Just helpful to remember that many leading fast services are owned by competing media companies. So in terms of them merging, it's unlikely, because they each need and want that ad revenue that they're earning off of the fast services. And really remember, the only reason they would merge is if they can't be profitable on their own. So it'll all come down to advertising. Okay, and then the last question was one about, why is the Roku channel app not on Apple TV? AirPlay from your iPhone works, but you'd prefer the app. So I did a little digging into this, and as you can see, the Roku app is available in the App Store, but that would be for, not for your TV. This is not through Apple TV Plus. This is just through the Apple App Store. But it is available. Apple TV Plus is available on the Roku channel store. So I understand this can get a little confusing, but basically what it comes down to is it could be that maybe the Roku channel isn't available on Apple TV Plus right now, because Roku has not made that decision to invest in. I'm sorry. Why can't you, if you have Apple TV, why can't you just get the Roku channel app on it? Could be that Roku doesn't want to spend the money. It is an investment on the back end to make that possible, and it could be that they just haven't gotten around to it yet, or it's not as high of a priority for them as other things. So we could look back to when Peacock wasn't available on every app there for a while. So maybe it'll come in time, and I guess in the meantime, I would say keep using that AirPlay.
If possible.
If possible, yeah.
And Raymond has a good question. we've discussed is how would venue be affected by the loss of NBA TV rights, and that would be particularly aimed at WBD, with the rampant reports that WBD has all but lost NBA rights. And it's interesting. I've read a fair number of articles and watched videos on it, and it's right now they're saying that, from everything I've pulled together, that it's going to be okay, that it's not going to be an issue, because they've got March Madness and they've got NHL and some MLB, but that is going to be a big thing, I think, in my opinion. And I think we mentioned this on Friday, but I've read that there could even be a lawsuit by WBD towards the NBA if they're not able to get in and get what they want. And WBD, their balance sheet is not good. They've got a fair bit of debt, and their linear networks are dying, and there's genuine concern there that they will be in trouble if they're not able to secure the NBA rights, or even if they do, just from what I've read, reports are at 2.5 or 2.6 billion, what that would mean for the WBD balance sheet. So, it's not really a good answer, but it depends. And it really comes down to if Disney and Fox want to work together, if they really need the third partner of WBD in there. And overall, when we put the post in our community, there's a lot of frustration right now with streaming, and we get it. We can relate to a lot of it because content is getting more sparsed out, and with raising prices, I don't know that it's necessarily going to get better. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But really, it takes an active mindset, because it's not one that is the set it and forget it. And it's using, I think, especially using free services, and if you're able to, an antenna, but keeping those costs at bay. And that will be more of a challenge. Even these deals today for National Streaming Day, there are some good deals, but it's not by any means ones that are long-term. And just really scheduling the content you want to watch and getting in and out of a service as soon as you can. That's really the best way to do it, if you can, if you're able to.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us today on this special National Streaming Day live stream. It's good to hear from a lot of you. Just a little reminder that we will not be live streaming this Friday, with it being the Memorial Day weekend. We'll
be back on the 31st, though.
Yeah, back on the 31st. Hope that you guys have a great week and a good long weekend.
Yeah, and yes, definitely. And Peter asked talk about MLB Network on YouTube TV. Nothing that I've read recently. It's a known issue on their part, and from everything I've read, they don't seem too inclined to try and rectify this. And it is a glaring issue, but from what I've read, they believe that, well, they've got Sunday Ticket, and so they're good. They don't need to offer anything else in terms of sports, and it's arguable that they would have to raise prices if they get it. I don't know if they would, but it's certainly a possibility. So, again, one of those frustrations.
For sure.
Yeah, and
thoughts on Dish Network and them filing for bankruptcy. Is it time to ditch Dish? Maybe. I think Sling, maybe they're experiencing kind of the same thing that we're seeing with the shift away from linear to streaming. Dish is satellite, obviously, but Sling TV, which is owned by Dish,
Dish itself. I mean, the reports came out again over the last week or so, was asked of Dish's CEO of whether or not they and DirecTV should merge, and they gave a non-answer saying basically that's always sort of been there and we may look into it. And they seem to have put as much as they can into cell phone type services, I don't see how they don't do that. So that's, yeah, I foresee them merging with DirecTV at some point.
Yeah, and then who knows? Maybe they'll be able to hang around a few more years, probably. I mean, regional sports networks and Diamond are still hanging on. So
Well, they always will, in my opinion.
Anyway, well, thank you all so much for hanging in there with us. We hope you have a great week. And
Yes.
We'll
Have
see
a great
you.
Memorial Day.
Yep. See you on the 31st. And don't forget to keep checking the channel because we will have some videos coming out in the meantime. All right. Take care, everyone.
Yes. Bye.